Have you ever experienced an itch and wondered if it was your body trying to tell you something important? As we age, our bodies become quieter in the way they speak to us, no longer through sharp pains or sudden changes, but through subtle changes like fatigue, tightness, or even a persistent itch. And while most people brush that itch aside as dry skin or aging, the truth is, its location could be a whisper of something deeper. In fact, some types of chronic itch in older adults are linked to serious underlying health problems, things that if left unchecked can gradually affect your quality of life and even shorten your lifespan. That's why in this video we'll look at 4 specific areas of the body where itching may be related to more than just the skin, but also to circulation, organ function, neurological health, or nutrition. These aren't just guesses, they're backed by real medical patterns that doctors and researchers have observed in older adults. Each area we explore has its own story to tell, and by the end of this video, you'll know how to listen to your body more closely, recognize these signs early, and take simple steps that can add years not just to your life, but to the strength, clarity, and peace with which you live. So, if you're ready, let's get started. Let's begin with the first sign, persistent itching in your lower legs. It might seem like no big deal, just dry skin, right? Maybe it's the weather, maybe your socks were too tight, or maybe you didn't drink enough water. But when the itching keeps returning, especially at night or after sitting still for a while, it could be more than just a surface-level irritation. It might be your body's quiet way of telling you that blood isn't flowing the way it used to. Doctors have long known that itching in the lower legs, particularly the calves, ankles, and feet, can be an early sign of peripheral artery disease, or PAD. PAD happens when the arteries that carry blood to your limbs begin to narrow, often due to a buildup of fatty deposits called plaque. As a result, your legs don't get the oxygen and nutrients they need. The skin becomes dry, the nerve endings grow more sensitive, and that itch that doesn't go away with lotion, that's your skin begging for better circulation. According to the CDC, more than 6.5 million Americans over age 40 are currently living with PAD, and many don't even know it. It's especially common in adults over 65, and even more so in those who have diabetes, high blood pressure, or a history of smoking. But here's the catch. The earliest symptoms of PAD often go unnoticed. People don't always feel pain. Instead, they notice odd sensations like tingling cold feet, or, in many cases, a constant unexplained itch. I remember a gentleman named Bowers, who's 76 years old, retired, and lives with his daughter and grandchildren. He's never been one for walking much, preferring to sit on the porch or watch the ball game from his recliner. Over the past few months, he started scratching the back of his legs every night sometimes until the skin turns red. His daughter suggested switching detergents. He tried changing lotions, bought a humidifier, even wore cotton socks instead of wool. But the itch never left. Eventually, during a routine checkup, his doctor noticed that the skin on his lower legs was dry and slightly discolored. A quick test called the ankle brachial index ABI, which compares blood pressure in the ankle to blood pressure in the arm, revealed that Mr. Bowers had mild PAD. His arteries were narrowing silently, reducing blood flow to his legs. The itching was the first sign long before pain or numbness set in. Here's why that matters. When blood doesn't flow properly, it affects more than just your legs. Your heart has to work harder. Your veins struggle to return blood back to the upper body. Even your brain can feel the strain over time. That's why your legs are sometimes called your body's second heart. They help pump blood upward, fighting gravity with every step. And when you stop moving, everything slows down, especially circulation. The good news is that early PAD can be managed and even reversed with simple, consistent changes. Mr. Bowers didn't need surgery or heavy medication. He started with short daily walks, even just 5 minutes around the house. He elevated his legs with a pillow while watching TV. He drank more water throughout the day, reduced salty snacks, and switched to lower sodium soups. His doctor also recommended lightweight compression socks to encourage blood flow. Within weeks, the itching began to fade. His skin looked healthier, and more importantly, he felt more energized. What started as a minor irritation turned out to be a life-saving clue and a gentle push to get moving again. If you've noticed a similar itch, especially one that comes and goes in your lower legs, isn't helped by lotion, or feels worse at night, it's worth paying attention. Don't just cover it up. Don't tell yourself it's just part of getting older. Your body may be trying to warn you before something more serious happens. Here are a few gentle steps that can make a real difference. Walk a little every day. Even just 5 to 10 minutes helps push blood back through your legs. Elevate your legs when resting. This helps reduce pressure and swelling. Drink plenty of water. Hydration supports circulation and skin health. Watch your salt intake. Less sodium means less fluid retention and better blood pressure. Talk to your doctor about PAD screening if you have risk factors like diabetes, smoking, or high cholesterol, or if the itching just won't go away. The earlier PAD is caught, the easier it is to manage, and more than that, it's a reminder of just how connected everything in your body truly is. Sometimes the legs send the first message, not with pain, but with a quiet little itch. So the next time you find yourself scratching your calves for the third night in a row, pause. Pay attention. That itch may be more than dry skin. It might be your body's way of asking for movement, for circulation, for care. And as Mr. Bowers will tell you today, I didn't know a little itch could wake me up, but I'm glad it did. Just as an unexplained itch in your legs can signal trouble with circulation, an itch that lingers in your upper or middle back, right between the shoulder blades, might be trying to tell you something about what's happening deep inside your body, particularly with your liver or kidneys. This kind of itching is especially frustrating because there's often no rash, no visible irritation, and nothing on the surface that explains why it's happening. You might switch soaps, change your detergent, or apply lotion after lotion only to find the itch keeps coming back, especially at night. And while it's easy to blame it on aging or dry skin, doctors have found that persistent itching in this specific area of the back may be linked to declining kidney or liver function, two essential organs responsible for filtering waste and maintaining balance in your body. When these organs begin to struggle, whether from chronic disease, medication overload, or years of wear and tear, waste products like urea bile salts and toxins can accumulate in the bloodstream. These irritants can then trigger nerve endings in the skin, leading to a deep, unrelenting itch that feels like it comes from within, not from the surface. According to the National Institute of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Diseases, over 37 million Americans have chronic kidney disease, and many aren't even aware of it because the early signs can be so subtle. Likewise, more than 4.5 million adults in the U.S. have been diagnosed with liver disease, and countless more are living with early-stage issues without realizing it. One of those early signs, unexplained itching, especially across the upper back, where sensory nerves are densely packed. Consider the case of Evelyn, a soft-spoken 78-year-old widow who still drives herself to church and loves tending her small garden. Over the past several months, she began to notice a nagging itch right in the center of her back. It would start in the evening and get worse at night, often waking her up. She thought maybe her clothes were too snug or her back too dry. She changed her soap, then her lotion, then her laundry detergent, but nothing helped. What she didn't know was that her kidneys had started to slow down quietly, and her liver was under added strain from multiple medications she was taking for her arthritis and blood pressure. When she finally mentioned the issue during her annual physical, her doctor ordered a few simple blood tests. The results showed elevated creatinine and liver enzymes markers that her filtering systems were overburdened. The doctor explained that as her body struggled to remove waste efficiently, those toxins were building up and irritating her skin from the inside out. The itch, in other words, was a warning light, just like the check engine light in a car. Thankfully, Evelyn caught it early. With her doctor's help, she adjusted her medication regimen, drank more water, reduced processed foods and salty snacks, and cut back on alcohol. Over time, her lab numbers improved and the itch faded. She still uses lotion, of course, but now she understands the real source of the problem wasn't on the surface. That's why this kind of itch is so tricky. Unlike a bug bite or a rash, it doesn't respond to topical treatments because the cause isn't in your skin, it's in your bloodstream. If you or someone you love has experienced this kind of unexplained itch on the back, especially if it's worse at night or doesn't respond to normal remedies, it's worth having a conversation with your doctor. A simple panel of blood tests can evaluate your kidney function looking at creatinine and GFR levels, as well as your liver function checking enzymes like ALT/AST and bilirubin. These tests can catch early warning signs long before more obvious symptoms appear, like fatigue, swelling in the ankles, or changes in appetite. And the good news is there are steps you can take to support these vital organs. Stay hydrated. Water helps flush the kidneys and keeps your liver working efficiently. Limit alcohol and processed foods, both of which can overload your liver. Reduce sodium to take pressure off your kidneys, especially if you have high blood pressure. And always review your medications with your doctor. Some drugs can quietly impact kidney and liver health over time. Just like Mr. Bauer's itchy legs helped reveal circulation problems, Evelyn's itchy back became the clue that something deeper was off. These quiet signs aren't meant to scare us. They're meant to guide us, nudging us to look beneath the surface. So the next time your back keeps itching for no clear reason, don't just grab another bottle of lotion. Pause. Listen, it might not be your skin that's calling for help. It might be your liver or kidneys asking for a little extra care. Just as your back might itch when your liver or kidneys are under stress, another area that often gets overlooked is your scalp and the back of your neck. This type of itch is frequently dismissed, chalked up to dry skin, a new shampoo, or just plain aging. But when the itch keeps coming back without any dandruff rash or visible irritation, and especially if it seems worse at certain times of day, often in the evenings, it may not be a skin problem at all. It may be your nervous system trying to tell you it's overwhelmed. You see, your scalp and neck are packed with nerve endings that respond quickly to both external and internal triggers. And as we grow older, our ability to regulate stress emotion and nervous tension can become less efficient. This makes the nervous system more reactive, more easily overstimulated, and more likely to send out odd signals like an itch you can't explain. In fact, many older adults who experience chronic itching in the scalp or neck are actually dealing with low-grade nervous system dysregulation caused by prolonged stress, emotional strain, or even isolation. According to the American Psychological Association, stress in older adults is often underreported but widely experienced, especially after retirement during life transitions or when social connections decline. While younger people may release stress through busy schedules or physical activity, older adults often internalize it quietly and over time. This internal buildup can manifest in many ways, and one of the most common is neuropathic itching, or itching caused by nerve irritation rather than a skin condition. Consider Raymond, a 77-year-old retired mail carrier. For decades, he followed a steady routine, early mornings, long walks, and daily conversations with neighbors. But after retiring and moving to a quieter neighborhood to be closer to his son, he found himself spending most days indoors. The TV became his main source of connection, and though he wasn't physically exhausted, he often felt restless, even uneasy. That's when the itching started. At first, it was just a little scratch at the back of his head in the evening. Then it became more frequent sometimes during the day, often worse at night. His scalp looked completely normal. No flakes, no redness. He switched shampoos twice, changed his pillowcases, and even tried antihistamines, but nothing helped. What Raymond didn't realize was that his body wasn't reacting to something on the outside. It was responding to what he was carrying inside low-level chronic stress that had no outlet. His nervous system, long accustomed to a busy lifestyle, was now overstimulated without movement or meaningful engagement. Fortunately, his doctor recognized the pattern and gently explained that this type of itch can stem from emotional overload and sensory imbalance. There was no need for harsh treatments, just small daily practices to help his body and mind reset. Raymond started walking again just 10 minutes each morning. He began turning the TV off an hour before bed and instead called his sister or read a devotional. He added light stretches to his evening routine and took up a short journaling habit. Within weeks, the itching softened. It didn't vanish overnight, but it faded gradually as his nervous system found a new rhythm. Research supports this mind-body connection. A study published in Frontiers in Medicine 2022 found that chronic itching without a clear dermatological cause is often linked to psychogenic or neurogenic factors, particularly in older adults. In other words, the brain and nerves may misinterpret or amplify signals when stress hormones are elevated or emotional balance is disrupted. The good news is, once we understand the root cause, we can respond with care, not frustration. If you've been experiencing an unexplained itch on your scalp or neck that doesn't go away with shampoo changes or lotions, ask yourself, have I been under stress? Have I been moving less, sleeping poorly, or feeling more isolated? Have I gone days without real connection or mental rest? These questions aren't always easy, but they're important, because sometimes your body doesn't know how else to ask for help. Thankfully, simple restorative practices can work wonders. Try a gentle walk in nature, a short breathing exercise before bed, or calling someone who makes you feel seen. Avoid overstimulation at night and dim the lights, limit news or screen time, and create a calm bedtime ritual. If needed, speak to a professional, whether a doctor or counselor, who can help you explore emotional wellness alongside physical care. Remember, just because you can't see a problem doesn't mean it isn't real. Itching tied to the nervous system is a genuine, often distressing experience, but it's also a gentle signal, your body's way of asking for peace, rhythm, and connection. And like Raymond, you may find that the moment you start listening, your body starts healing. So the next time your scalp or neck begins to itch for no clear reason, don't just reach for another bottle of shampoo. Pause. Ask what your nervous system might be feeling. Because sometimes the itch is less about dryness and more about the quiet need for calm. Finally, let's turn our attention to one of the most overlooked areas when it comes to itching: the chest and abdomen. This might not be a spot you'd associate with skin problems. There's usually no rash, no redness, no tight clothing to blame, and yet for many older adults, persistent itching across the torso can be one of the earliest signs that something deeper is going on. Unlike a seasonal itch or dry patch caused by the weather, this type of discomfort often lingers quietly, showing up at night or after meals, and rarely responds to creams or changes in soap. What makes this itch different is that it can stem not from what's irritating your skin, but from what your skin and your body as a whole might be lacking key nutrients. As we age, our bodies naturally become less efficient at absorbing the vitamins and minerals needed to stay balanced. This gradual change can go unnoticed, especially if you're still eating regularly and maintaining your weight. But even with a normal diet, older adults can develop subtle nutrient deficiencies that affect everything from nerve function to immune health to skin repair. In fact, studies show that up to 1/3 of people over 60 are deficient in vital nutrients like vitamin B12, zinc, magnesium, and essential fatty acids, all of which play a critical role in keeping the skin healthy and comfortable. When these nutrients are low, your skin can become dry, hypersensitive, or oddly itchy, particularly around the torso, where fat stores and nerve receptors are concentrated. Take a story, Lillian, who 81 years old, widowed, and has always been small, in frame, petite but healthy, as her friends would say. She still keeps a tidy house and walks her dog every afternoon, but over the past year, she noticed her appetite wasn't what it used to be. A piece of toast and coffee felt like enough for breakfast, and soup with crackers often became dinner. She didn't think much of it after all. She wasn't losing weight and she felt fine. But gradually she developed an itch across her chest and upper belly every evening. No rash, no bumps, just a dry, tight, itchy feeling that wouldn't go away no matter how much lotion she applied. Her son urged her to mention it to her doctor, who ordered a basic nutrition panel. The results were eye-opening. Lillian's vitamin B12 and zinc levels were well below the recommended range, and her magnesium was borderline low. Her doctor explained that these deficiencies were likely contributing to the nerve-related itching and poor skin hydration, especially since her diet had become limited. Even though her weight hadn't changed, her nutrient reserves were quietly depleting, and her skin was the first place to sound the alarm. The encouraging news is that this kind of problem is highly treatable. Once Lillian began adding small nutrient-dense snacks to her daily routine, like a boiled egg with breakfast, a handful of walnuts or almonds in the afternoon, and a serving of yogurt or berries. After dinner, she started to feel better within a few weeks. Her doctor also recommended a gentle multivitamin and encouraged her to rotate in foods rich in omega-3s like salmon or flaxseed oil. The itching began to fade. Her skin softened. And most importantly, she regained a sense of vitality she didn't even know she had lost. If you've noticed a persistent itch across your chest or stomach that doesn't respond to your usual skincare routine, it may be time to look beyond the lotion bottle. Consider what your body might be missing on the inside. Symptoms of nutrient deficiency in older adults aren't always dramatic. They often show up in small ways: a drop in energy, slower healing dry skin, brittle nails, or yes, unexplained itching. If you're eating less, avoiding certain food groups, or have underlying digestive issues like reflux or absorption disorders, the risk increases. And certain medications, such as metformin or long-term acid reducers, can interfere with nutrient absorption without you even realizing it. That's why it's important to talk with your doctor about whether a nutrition checkup is right for you. A few simple blood tests can reveal if your body needs extra support, and the fix is often refreshingly simple. A little more variety, a few mindful snacks, and perhaps a gentle supplement tailored to your needs. In a world that often overlooks the quiet signs, your body speaks in whispers. That little evening itch, it might be more than skin deep. It might be your body's way of asking for nourishment, not just comfort. So instead of ignoring it, try asking yourself, have I been eating enough of the right things? Has my appetite changed? Could my body be craving more than what's on the surface? Because when you give your body what it truly needs, it responds with gratitude, often in small, beautiful ways. The skin becomes calmer, the energy returns, and a deeper sense of well-being begins to grow. So, if your torso is quietly itching and nothing topical seemed to work, take a closer look at your plate, your habits, and your nutritional health. Sometimes the softest signals are the most important ones of all. And when you take a step back and look at all 4 of these silent signals itching in your lower legs, upper back, scalp and neck, and across your torso, it becomes clear that your body doesn't always shout when something's wrong. More often, it whispers. These itches may seem small or harmless at first, easy to brush off or blame on dry air, aging skin, or a change in soap. But beneath the surface, they can reflect deeper imbalances, issues with circulation filtering organs like the liver and kidneys, nervous system stress, or even quiet nutritional gaps. The good news is that none of these signs mean it's too late. In fact, they're often your body's way of inviting you to pause, to check in, and to make gentle, thoughtful changes before something more serious sets in. Maybe it's time to stretch your legs a little more each day, drink an extra glass of water, add a boiled egg or handful of almonds to your snack plate, or simply call someone you've been missing. These don't have to be dramatic changes. Small, consistent choices often lead to the biggest improvements, especially as we age. So if something you heard today felt familiar, if a particular itch keeps returning and doesn't seem to respond to the usual remedies, don't ignore it. Listen with curiosity. Respond with care. Because your body is always working for you, and these subtle signs are often the first nudge toward a stronger, clearer, more peaceful life. Thank you so much for spending time with us today. We truly appreciate you. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, share it with someone who might need it, and leave a comment below to let us know what stood out to you most. Have you noticed any of these signs yourself? We'd love to hear your story. And don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the next video. We've got more gentle, life-changing insights coming your way. Until then, take care of yourself, and we'll see you in the next one.